Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. I just want to take a few minutes to give you an update on what's going on with the Melissa movement. We really had no idea that it was going to be this big, but it's becoming much bigger than we thought, and the opportunities are great. So I just wanted to let you know a little about it. The Melissa movement is something we started in memory of Melissa because she was a spiritual mother, and we wanted to have a fund available that people could give to kind of carry on her legacy of spiritual mothering. And we thought it would just be a one-time offering at her memorial service, but it ended up being much more than that, and people kept giving and giving. And so the Lord kept opening doors for us to be able to minister in different places or to resource spiritual moms who are passing along the faith to generations. These are spiritual older women that are mentoring younger women in the gospel, in marriage and parenting, in life skills. And that's very much what Melissa did. So it's a carrying on of her legacy. So just want to give you a few insights as to what's going on. So we have many people in the nations that we're talking to, and 3 people that we're actually supporting in the nations in some way to be able to resource their efforts toward training up the next generation of young women. First is Ola Nertz. This is a picture of Philip and Ola, our dear friends in Gdańsk, which is on the north coast of Poland. And Ola is a real evangelist. She really loves to reach out to women. She has a deep, deep heart for women. And she has a team of women that actually minister to women. So it's not just her, it's multiplied. And I've worked with their team, which is called Women Connecting. And they have done great work all through Poland, actually, mostly in the city of Gdańsk. But they do a lot of work with women who are either young in the faith or not in the faith yet. And it's an outreach to be able to bring people, to connect to people and bring them into the kingdom of God, to present the gospel to them, and then to disciple them. And to be a safe place where people can be seen, be heard, be prayed for, and be mentored in the gospel. And so they're doing such great works in many different venues. They do a lot of different, they do outreaches, they do online Zoom programs like little conferences or little seminars or little multi-week Bible studies, and they have just a lot of creative ways to reach out to be able to touch women there. So we know them, we know their work, and we really trust what they're doing, and it's a great work there. Then we have Beatrice and her husband, Pastor Matthias. They are serving a small Maasai community in the village of Kiria in Tanzania. And Beatrice has been reaching out to these Maasai women for a few years now, building relationships with them. This is very, very poor area. This is very subsistence living, and they are she's doing a lot of work with mentoring these young women in practical skills in ways that they can also grow in the gospel. Well, she had been working, kind of supplementing their income by walking a long ways each day or a few times a week to milk cows, and that was helping to supplement their income. What we decided is to supplement her income with funds from the Melissa movement, so she does not have to go and milk the cows on those days, that she can actually stay in her village and spend more time working with these women in the Maasai village. And this is a picture of her in the church there at one of the conferences that we were at. She has a beautiful spirit, she's a beautiful lady, and she's reaching out in beautiful ways to these women who are in many ways under great oppression because of the Maasai culture. But they're finding hope in Jesus. We did 2 years ago a conference, a women's conference there. There was with a team that we took from our church. and there were 12 women in that conference. The next year, when we came back, there were around 40 women in that conference, and not all of them are born again, but they're all learning about the gospel. They're all connecting. They're all being mentored by Beatrice, and so really grateful for the work she's doing there. Then there's Kari, and Kari is working in Poland as well with a different group of women, different demographic. These are sort of at-risk younger women, maybe age 13 to 30 or 35. And Kari is reaching out to them because she herself has had a very difficult past. And the Lord met her in her hard times through a specific ministry there in Poland, which she now works with. And she is now a full-time missionary. And she is working with these young women to bring them to a place of hope and deliverance from fear, from rejection, from addiction, from relationships that are destructive. And she's reaching out, and she's a real prayer warrior. And we're really glad to be able to also to reach other women through her. Then there's also Street Hope Tennessee. Street Hope is an organization here in East Tennessee, and they are aiding women who have been young women who have been rescued from sex trafficking here in the area. And there's a house that's been built. These young ladies come into this house. They find a place of rest and acceptance and safety where they can reorient themselves and disconnect from the past and look toward a future. They're ministered to, they're educated. They have many different programs where these women are not only learning the hope of the gospel and learning the identity of who they are, but learning that they can live in a new way and even to reach out and help other people. So Street Hope is doing wonderful work, and we have been working through the Melissa movement and through our local church here to support Street Hope for a couple of years now. And then locally as well, we have an outreach here to young moms in our own church and in our community. Some of them don't go to our church. And this is Amy Lind, our pastor's wife at Trinity Community Church. And Amy started a little program a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, called Diaper Days, D-A-Z-E, as in I'm dazed, because there's so much overwhelming me during this season in my life for moms of very young children. And she is doing such a great job of supporting them and creating a community of support and teaching biblical principles of parenting and motherhood and marriage and really just growing in the gospel. She's just doing a great job. We're very grateful to be able to help with them. And we resource them we have a resource library that we've built there, or we've provided for them. Also, there are retreats that they do, and the Melissa movement funds these retreats where these women can go away and go deeper with each other and in the Lord. So it's a great opportunity. So all of that is happening through the Melissa movement, and by the people who've given to this Melissa movement, we have been able to give in the last 2 years tens of thousands of dollars. So unexpected to us that this has been a venue that God would use, but it just people keep believing in it, keep giving to it. It's part of Melissa's legacy, and we can see this legacy growing. And another part of it, of course, is the Walking Through Grief book. This is the book that I wrote as I was walking through my own grief journey, and I was learning how to deal with my pain in a biblical way through the biblical Psalms of Lament. And there is a pattern in those Psalms of Lament that God takes us through, that He takes those psalmists through. Though they were written in many different times by different psalmists with different circumstances, there was a pattern that is very similar in almost all of those lamenting psalms. There's 50 of them. And I began to see that pattern. I wrote this book that's based on that, and based on how the Lord taught me to deal with my own grief in understanding He is in the midst of it and turning to Him and crying out honestly to Him. He revealing Himself to me waiting on the Lord and letting him work inside me and walking along with him into this place of hope. And this book has been used to bless a lot of people in English. We now have the copies, I have it translated now into Polish and into Ukrainian. We're working with other editors in those languages to perfect this translation. We hope within the next few months to have this translation available in Poland and in Ukraine, in those two languages. And the reason that we want to have that available is that we have opportunities to do these productions. I'm not sure what they're going to be called, but they're going to be evenings of lament or evenings of exploring how to walk in a healthy way through grief. And we're talking about voice actors and music, with original music being written for this pattern, these lamenting psalms, this pattern of lament in those lamenting psalms, and dance, and also my part is coming out and interacting with the audience through a translator as well. We're planning this. It's about 80% sure that it's going to happen sometime next year, probably March of next year. Of course, this is way beyond what we thought would happen, and what God's putting together is really beautiful, with many very talented and even nationally known musicians and artists that are coming together with this. It's going to be kind of small and low key, but very high in quality, and I think high in effectiveness. I've done something similar to this without music, without the theatrical presentation, and it's been beautiful what God has done in those Polish cities. So the idea is to have a tour through many major Polish cities next year to offer hope to people who are in pain. And again, there are millions of Ukrainian refugees that are there present in Poland now, and to have the books available in Polish and Ukrainian. We also have this opportunity to have the book translated into Russian, and there are so many people who are grieving in Russia right now. We also have an opportunity to have it translated into Hindi, which has the potential of reaching almost like around 1 billion people, which is amazing. And we're working with people on that right now, but also in Spanish, and who knows what else would open up for that. This is again beyond our expectancy for what would happen with this book, but it seems that God is breathing on this effort. And this is also part of Melissa's legacy, because this book is really part of her ongoing legacy, and she would just really love to see the people helped. I know what her heart was like, and she would have loved to have seen the possibility of many people being helped around the world. So, of course, these things cost money. This is what the GoFundMe page is about. And I felt like I wanted to give an opportunity to people who have read the book and believe in it, or maybe it's helped you and you want to pass that along, and maybe if you could see that help happen in other languages in other parts of the world, maybe you would be interested in giving to that. And so you can click on the GoFundMe link and give there. You can go to our church website, tccnox.com, tccnox.com, and you can press the giving tab, and you can designate to the Melissa Movement. And if you give to the Melissa Movement, that's all going to be going toward these projects. It won't go to the normal Thrive projects, Thrive ministry projects, which are helping to train pastors and leaders in many nations. This will all go to these projects of helping resource spiritual mothers and helping to get this grief book in other languages and have it published. So thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. I appreciate your prayers for this effort, and if you feel like it's a good place to sow, it would be great if you could give. So thanks so much. Bless you.